People won't take your advice if they don't trust you. And that trust can come down to very subtle factors. Today, we're going to look about when you need to be focusing on building relationships first. Have you ever had that experience of sharing something on social media or telling something to a friend because you're just looking to share, and right away they come back with some advice about how they did it? And of course, it's implied in there that if you did that too, you would have the exact same success that they would have. I think we've all had this experience, and often it can rub us the wrong way. Sometimes we like the advice, we accept it with open arms, we consider it whether or not we agree with it. And other times, even if it's advice that we would normally consider, there's just something about it that rubs us the wrong way and we close our ears to it immediately. And that factor is really trust. How much we feel heard, how much we trust that the other person has our best interests at heart and they're not trying to just pat themselves on their back for how great they implemented that advice in their life. It really all comes down to that factor of trust. This is especially true in newer relationships. When somebody jumps in too soon to solve a problem, when they haven't shown any empathy towards what you're experiencing and they're moving right to fixing your problem, it breaks down that relationship factor needed, that trust needed to be able to even listen to someone's advice. Now, the reason this is important in the workplace is because if you find yourself met with resistance when you're sharing advice, the thing I'd like you to think back to is what you need to do to build that relationship more. How you can strengthen that relationship with the other person so that when it gets to the point of speaking about solutions and advice, you're going to be heard a little bit more. Now, if you're a new manager to a team, or sometimes, whether you've been promoted from within or you've come in from another organization, it's really important to watch that tendency to give advice before having built enough of a foundation of relationship for that advice to be accepted and considered. I see this often when somebody new comes in to manage a team. Often, the person's feeling a little bit nervous, a little bit insecure. They kind of feel like they have to prove themselves. And they come in with all these ideas of what they're going to change and how they're going to revamp everything. And of course, the people who are already there are starting to feel a little shaken up by all this change. They don't feel the new person necessarily understands what they've gone through and where they're heading. And it right away leads to a clash and resistance, even if that's subtle and kind of underground. And really what I'd recommend in that situation is focusing first on building the relationship. If you're moving into a new position where you're leading a team, spend time asking questions, understanding the perspective of the people you're leading. Get a sense of what their priorities are, where they think there needs to be some focus, and only when you feel that that trust is built, that's the time to start shifting towards sharing your perspective, your advice, where you want to head, because you'll have that trust built that will enable you to bring that team, lead them to where you want them to go. If you come in too soon with the vision and where you want to take them, that resistance is going to be there, and it's really a sign that the trust is not there. You need to focus on building that relationship first. So remember back to how you feel when you're sharing a concern in your personal life and somebody tells you really quickly how to fix it. That's how your team members might feel if you're doing that to them. So key here, if you're met with resistance around giving advice, go back to relationship first.